Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Constant Agitation. I'm Jimmy, and as always joined by Eva.
Hi everyone.
How you doing?
Good.
Busy day today, huh?
Yeah, this is kind of the relaxing time. Feels like
Right?
a bit. Yeah.
So did we have any questions this week?
Yeah, we did have one.
Yeah.
Yes.
You got it on your
Yeah.
account.
Do you have it ready there? No.
No, I didn't get a...
All right.
Or maybe I did.
Let me see.
So, how's everybody doing? This is Constant Agitation, your weekly podcast about photography and sometimes other stuff. Hi, everybody in the chat. So nice to see you all.
Yes.
We have some photo news while Eva pulls up a question.
Mm-hmm.
There was a rumor going around that Kodak Pro Image 100 is being discontinued. And I found this Cosmophoto article that is debunking.
Yeah, they actually reached out to Kodak galleries, right?
Yeah, they got a statement saying, we have not discontinued sales of our Kodak Professional Pro Image 100 film. That said, it is certainly lower on the priority list than our main running color negative films, Portra, Hector, Gold, Ultramax, with all of which are very high demand at the moment. It's strange to me that he said we have not discontinued sales, not production.
So exactly, that's the point. So I got to know about this because there was some talk in the Discord that someone that really likes Pro Image in the US weren't able to get it from the website of the local or the provider that they were buying. So they reach out to them saying, hey, why hasn't this been for months on the website? And they answer saying that it seems like Kodak is pulling from selling in the US at least this particular stock because they have to focus on the other ones that are higher demand. And when it comes to production, I know that Kodak in general was having some shortages. That's why also Color Plus wasn't available for some time. I don't know if they're putting all the material they have to produce these other ones that are more important to them or to the line of sales.
It's strange. Like, am I the only one who doesn't like Color Gold and Ultramax? Like, I really don't like them.
I prefer Color Plus and Pro Image.
Yeah,
even though Ultramax is 400, which is a speed that there's nothing to...
Yeah, but there is Superia.
Yeah,
400.
but that's Fuji. I mean, on the Kodak line.
Yeah, but the Superia is much better than the Ultramax, in my opinion.
Yeah,
at
I
least.
also think
but
so.
I understand, like, this is a taste issue, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you're talking about even Kodak films, everybody I talk to, at least, they seem to prefer Pro Image and Color Plus. And somehow, these are the films that are least available. And I understand that makes sense because if they're popular, then they sell out, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, whenever I go to Bruno, the photo store here in Stockholm, sometimes I'm sitting there hanging out with the people who work there, because I'd like to talk about that stuff. And I never make a list whenever I go buy stuff. I go there and I forget everything that I need and I have to spend like an hour to remember what I need. But they're very nice and they never kick me out. So whenever I'm there, a lot of people come in and come out to buy film. And I've noticed that a lot of people buy Color Gold.
Yeah, and they come asking for Color Gold.
Yeah. The thing is, at least there, Color Gold is sold as a package. So you get like three films for a good price.
Mm-hmm.
They come in a small package, like all 3 rolls together, and you get them at a reduced price. But I still think, I haven't checked, but I think Pro Image, like per roll, if you buy the 5-pack, it's approximately the same.
I think so. But, buying 5 is... I'm seeing it from the point of view of someone that is coming new, that they have an old camera, they just want to try something. So, I don't know. I also think Kodak Gold is like more known, just like as a consumer film.
Yeah.
So I think people that might not have the time to test different things and see which ones they like more or experiment a little bit, they're just coming into it. It's like, oh, Kodak Gold is like a typical film that you can buy, right?
Yeah.
I feel like it. So I think it's more on the owners of the shops to kind of maybe push. Like if I will have the shop and someone comes to me saying, I want Kodak Gold, I would say, oh, we have this other one Pro Image maybe, or Color Plus if they have it, which nobody has it now.
But in my head, I'm forming a conspiracy right now. Is that Kodak is purposefully producing less of the nice consumer films, so they don't eat of the portion of Portra. So if you're someone who doesn't mind slower speed, or don't really mind the difference between Pro Image and Portra, like myself, I would shoot for 35. I would always take Color Plus over Portra all the time because the price difference is not there that much in a smaller frame.
Yeah.
What I use the 35 for, I'm happy with Pro Image. I'm happy with Color Plus. I don't necessarily, if I'm gonna push, I'm gonna buy Portra 800. But at that point, I might shoot just digital instead of shooting film if I need something of convenience. You know what I mean? Because when you go up to 800, it's about convenience.
Yeah.
At this point,
it's for a specific kind of job that you're doing.
So I might shoot digital as well. There's no harm in that. But then, for most of the time, I want color plus. Is that what it's called? The red and yellow one.
Yeah, the Color Plus.
Yeah, or Pro Image. Better than any other one, even Portra, in terms of bang for the buck.
I mean, I don't have so much experience with Portra and 35, to be honest. Mostly on medium format.
I mean, it looks good. It's Portra.
I have a roll there in the back, actually, if I need to put a new roll somewhere.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think in the chat? Let me know. Like, do you think Color Gold and Ultramax are as awful as I think they are? Because I really don't like them. I find the colors, especially with Ultramax, the blues, they go crazy. They have, whenever there's a photo with a sky in it, it's kind of like iPhone, how all of the iPhone skies are weird.
They look the same, yeah. I mean, for me, Ultramax look, or like the typical look that you get from Ultramax, or that is like the typical super fast 1 hour photo development that you used to get. Like, it wasn't, not tailored nor anything. It's just it's like factory line type of look. Yeah. So to speak. But
it's almost
too contrasty for my taste as well.
Like a bad Instagram filter. I would say that probably the people who like to shoot those films are the same people who love to shoot disposable cameras. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, there's nothing wrong with them. Not dissing them or anything. CM, I 100% agree. CM said, and then it's like, I have never shot Ultramax or Gold. Al-Walid is saying, the worst film I've ever shot is Kodak Gold 200 pushed to 800 shot indoors. That's Color Plus or Fuji C200 for me. Yeah, these are my favorite 200 films as well.
I really like Pro Image, actually.
Pro Image is really nice. It's just like it's like almost like Portra.
I mean, you can do so much once you scan them yourself.
Yeah, but I don't necessarily. That's what I'm saying. Like, I couldn't tell the difference between a Portra image and a Pro Image if you edit them to look the same.
Yeah. Definitely not worth the extra money.
Eli is saying that Gold at 200 box speed is a nice film. Yeah, I don't know. Like, yeah, I it's better than Ultramax, but I just don't see how it compares to Color Gold or C200. I think they're just
Color Plus, you mean?
What did I say?
To Color Gold.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say.
Yeah,
I think Color Gold is much nicer. There's less color weirdness issues that you have to. The colors, if you get one color right, all the other colors seem to be right. So for example, if you're working with, like, Ektar is a pro film that is known to give you weird skin tones.
Yeah,
like your skin tones are going to be red.
Because it's super
saturated
and yeah. I mean, here CM is saying Portra 400 or Ektar 100 for 120.
Yeah.
For him.
Yeah, so like Ektar, you won't shoot portraits with it, but if you do, you can kind of like take the redness or drop the saturation. If you want to take a portrait or two, you can fix those if you don't want them to look red. But then I feel like all the colors are gonna follow in a pleasant way. What happens with Ultramax is that you change one thing and everything goes crazy. I don't know, but I think that's...
Yeah, Walid is saying Kodak 200 with a point and shoot with flash is pure nostalgia.
I agree.
I mean, that's the thing. That's the 1 hour photo type of photos that you will just take it there and you will get your photos in very shiny paper, which I hate.
I guess people shoot film for a different reason, and the more people like come into it, you know, I see how people just buy a disposable camera or a point and shoot and use it at parties.
Yeah, of course.
That way it's like fun whenever they pull out the camera. It's not like, oh, here we are taking a selfie again with the phone. Because I feel like the phone photo might be so used to the point that some people are not in the mood for it.
Yeah.
I'm imagining a party scenario, but if
you pull out a phone, they'll take another selfie.
Yeah,
but
it's
if you
like,
actually have
if you have a cool camera,
shoot,
you know.
yeah, it's a different thing. We had it at parties,
Yeah.
and it's nice. Everyone wants to take one and shoot it, right? That's
Yeah.
a good thing. You can give it to people, and
The first person who gets tipsy steals the point and shoot and shoots the roll in 5 seconds. You know who I'm talking about.
yes,
But yeah.
not me though. But
No. Somebody we haven't seen in a while.
yeah.
But yeah, that's about it for the news today. I think El Walid was asking, why aren't we making videos anymore?
Yeah, that was the question we got. Well, it was, I've been checking your photo walk videos from last year.
Yeah.
Why not to do more?
I'm going to keep this short. We shot a bunch and I'm going through a rough time, to be honest, like editing them because I'm having, creative problems.
But I think also another thing is that those photo walks, as much as they're enjoyable to shoot, you know, like the ones that I did, for example, vlog style or whatever, it was cool doing it. I enjoyed it because that's what I would do the same without having a camera or without recording it.
Yeah.
But at some point, I also asked myself, what's the point of it? You know
what
I mean?
think?
Like, does it add any value?
We were enjoying it so much because we weren't shooting as much, like for work.
Yeah.
And now that so that's the thing, like I had a different job. Eva wasn't getting as much bookings because if you know
Corona.
I avoid saying that word on the podcast so we don't get flagged.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's fine. So she wasn't getting as much jobs because everybody was, locked in. And I had a different job at the time. So we weren't working with editing so much. So we miss editing. We were like, okay, now since we don't have to work with it, we can have a lot of fun, going out on photo walks, and we can even have more fun if we make videos. Because that's, for anybody who's starting a YouTube channel, it's important that you're having fun while you're doing it.
Definitely.
I mean, you can have a team of people. If you're a single person or even a couple who are working, and the typical YouTuber type, not a production company,
yeah.
Because it can be like that. It doesn't have to be like a big production company, but there's a lot of YouTube channels that are production houses. One that I think of and I really like, if you're into cars, it's called Donut Media.
But I mean, these people are like professionals of producing.
I mean, I've been watching them since the start. Since
they got better. Yeah.
And they of course they got better, and I think the team grew. Even the cameras that they're using, they evolved.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they have a head company or if they were purchased later or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a group of guys having fun, and there's people who are working solely as editors, people who are working solely as presenters, and where was I going with that? So to them it's a fun job.
Yeah.
To us, it's a fun activity that we do it away from work. And I wasn't doing so much work on photo editing and video editing, and I missed it. So we started the YouTube channel. But now, somehow with the world opening up again, it's a lot of work doing editing. And when I want to take a break from that, my break is more editing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I get very critical of what I'm doing. And, with that, it becomes more of a chore than a fun thing to do. Although I'm trying to figure it out, because I'm really happy with starting the YouTube channel. I'm really happy with meeting all of you and starting this podcast. And I want to keep making videos. I'm just struggling to keep making more photo walks. It's like I want to make something that is more interesting.
Yeah, exactly. Like there has more value, more,
Yeah, but at the same time, I think about the time when we had the idea to do the photo walks is because we really enjoyed
doing them.
watching them as well.
Yeah, of course.
We enjoyed watching them. We enjoyed doing them.
And with tidbits about cameras and stuff like that.
Right now, I don't even watch photo walks anymore.
Yeah.
So like I'm burnt out on photo walks. To be honest, I'm being super honest. I keep promising every week that the new video is coming. And if you open my editing software, see there's a bunch of unfinished projects of different shoots that I just burn out halfway. And that's why they're not coming. So I hope that answered the question. But I hope maybe me talking about it kind of resolves some issues deep down.
I mean, there are quite so many cameras that I would like to do a photo shoot type of thing.
Yeah.
About like a photo walk. I mean, like just going out and then talk about what is it that I'm thinking when I'm taking this photo, why I'm attracted to whatever I'm doing. And
yeah, I think also like a part of it that we wanted to make them look better, and we invested in a new camera and we got a gimbal and we got a lot of things. And I feel like maybe we overdid it that way. I feel like maybe we should simplify it again and make it more about the camera itself than it about how it looks or how the video is presented, or I don't know, maybe we just shoot it with the phone and a selfie stick.
I mean, that's the thing. It's like in a sense we are gearheads to all the things that apply, right? Mm-hmm. Like, and I think also there is a little bit of a, like you see videos, you know what a good video looks like. Mm-hmm. And it's very difficult to be satisfied with less than, it's the same. It's very easy to be critical with yourself. It's the same with photos. Like we look at amazing photos every week, in, out. And it's very hard. You have to do an active exercise of not letting that affect your own work. Saying what I'm doing is not good enough, either because of the material or the gear or your creativity or your own skills and capabilities, right? Yes, it's good to have a goal, or like I really want to make something like this, be photos, be videos, be whatever it is in life. But one has to also be gentle with oneself, saying maybe I am not there yet, or maybe I don't have enough time to put to get there, or whatever is the circumstances around. Yeah. Right? But having good taste and knowing when something is good or not is good. It's a good thing to have. But sometimes it can play against you.
Yeah, that's the thing. I feel like I enjoy the photo walk in its simplest form. Like Eduardo Paves Goya's videos is just... these are, I mean, yeah. I really like his photos, but I also really like his video photo walks, because it's mostly about the photo walk, not about how it looks or how it was shot or anything like that. But at the same time, I've told you this idea, and I've had a few like initial ideas about scripts, and I want to do scripted like drama photo walks.
Yeah.
Yes, that's true. We never get around to actually making one of those more than a thought in my head. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that maybe is the thing that is like, why are you ignoring what you really want to do? It's like, like the idea is that we play characters in a movie, and it's a short movie about whatever the thing is. That's one of the ideas that I really would like to at least make one of the videos.
One of those, yeah. So it's like a dramatized photography video, sort of speak.
And I want to make it exciting. Like I want to make it engaging. I don't want to make it just,
for the sake of acting, yeah.
Yeah, but because there are people doing stuff like that on YouTube as well. I don't know if you see. I mean, I look around more than you do. Yeah. And there are people doing some good work. There's a guy called Brian. I don't remember his last name. It's with a B. And I've seen some of his latest videos. They're kind of like, they give me the OA vibes, like a lot of long, slow shots. Like, those slow movies, slow burners, that there's a lot of nice music and long shots where nothing is happening.
Scenes, yeah.
I enjoy that. It's not my style. Mm-hmm. But I'm like, I saw that. I was like, shit, somebody already started doing something.
Al-Walid is saying here, Mike Gray also makes nice dramatized video shoots. I'm not familiar.
Mike Gray, I've seen one of his videos that was like that. I think it was a Cinestill one. You know who Mike Gray is? If I remember correctly, Mike Gray he works with what's that famous photographer? Tyler Shields.
Tyler Shields? I don't know.
Is that the same guy?
With names.
is Mike Gray the same guy who works with Tyler Shields? I don't know. Somebody
Sherry also knows about him.
He had a video like that a while ago that I've seen. But if, to me, at least, the plot didn't make so much sense. It was like a lot of cinematic footage, and it was really cool. It was, and it was clickbaity though. If that's the video that I'm thinking of, it was like a movie shot a movie shot on Sinister. So I was like, what?
I remember that.
Yeah,
and then it wasn't really what I thought it would be.
Yeah, I thought that he actually somehow got a bulk load of Sinister and shot a film
movie,
on it. But then it was a movie, like some cinematic footage, some short film.
About shooting Sinister.
Yeah, and there was like, I think, action happening, and then like a slideshow overlaid on the action of shots done on Sinister. Do you know what I mean? So it was cool. It was a really good looking video. But I don't know if he's making different content. That's the only video I've seen of him.
Maybe we can
I've seen him, and I think I've talked to him on Clubhouse a few times, because I used to go into Tyler Shields' room. So yeah. But it's kind of there, but it's not exactly. But anyways,
just be a director, write a script, short script. And
I have a really, really weird brain. Sometimes I can't focus, as you probably know by now if you join the live often. So I need to work on my mental health, and then more videos will come. Let's keep it at that. But anyways, we're going to talk about a photographer today, aren't we?
Yeah, one that I think it has been coming, right?
So it's like an extension to last week's video.
The week before last week. Last week was Gerda Taro. So the week before was Garry Winogrand.
I'm lost.
Last week was Gerda Taro, which was the war photographer.
Yeah.
But the week before that, we talk about Garry Winogrand, which was together with Diane Arbus and today's photographer Lee Friedlander, part of the exhibition called New Documents at the MoMA, which kind of really catapulted the careers of these three photographers. So Diane Arbus, we already talked about her. Garry Winogrand, we talked about him 2 weeks ago. And now, last but not least, is Lee Friedlander.
I remember we looked at this particular photo when we talked about Garry.
Yeah, and also some photos of Garry were taken by Lee because they hung out together a lot. So even though Lee it's also kind of known for street photography, he rather preferred to call himself a photographer of something that you are actually going to feel very familiar with. He used to call it social landscape, the type of photography that he was doing.
Yeah. Hold on a second. These photos?
These ones are really cool. I really like that series.
Like, I have so many shots like this. I don't know if
I know.
I feel like everybody has this shot, but I can show, like, I can give you a gallery of. So
this photo, it's part of what it became a book afterwards called America by Car.
Yeah.
And he was a photographer that used to travel a lot, following some like Walk Evans and also the one that published The Americans, that we also talked about him. They used to do a lot of assignments where they just traveled through the country and they took a lot of photos. So he followed up that kind of methodology, and he decided to take photos in his rental cars, mostly because he was traveling and renting cars. And there's a whole book that is called America by Car that are those kind of photographs.
Here's
like this
one.
And one thing that you already, like, I don't know if you saw the photo or you guys saw the photo that I put as his selfie on, or his photo in the thumbnail, which is a photo of him with a lot of branches in front of his face.
Okay.
And he is very, I would say that you can see his photograph by things that shouldn't be in between things, but they happen to be there and they actually look beautiful. So these photos taken from inside the car, using the different parts of the car as framing, sub-framing areas, is a very Friedlander thing.
I had no idea. I had no idea that somebody because it's one of my favorite things to do. I have one that I can show real quick. This is the only one that I posted, but I have a bunch of them. I love doing that. Hold on a second. Because we often talk about this, like, having stuff. This one is not super similar, but it's the one that I can I can access right now. and there, this is from my other profile. Don't follow me there. And it's heavily edited. I took this one 2020. I posted it, and I have so many of those that I love doing this thing.
Yes. So
I'm so happy to see that
there's a whole book
doing
like
the same thing.
I have to say that we are gonna see a lot of photos here, but this is just a really small fraction of everything that he has done and published, because he has published more than 50 books, different books with many different themes. So even though he is known for this social landscape, street photography of sorts, he has done a lot of different work, starting from portraits. He actually started photographing jazz musicians that he loves. So he has photos of Aretha Franklin and some other jazz musicians that were really popular back in the 60s where he started. And those are the few color photos that you can find from him, because he didn't shoot a lot on color. He shot mostly in black and white, and he's still shooting in black and white today, actually. He's not so active, but he's still doing some work. And this, for example, is what I mean, that it's very much him to have something which everybody else would think, oh, why is that in the middle of the frame? Why is this part of the photo? This is a distraction. This is something that is not supposed to be in the photo. But he managed to include them in very interesting ways and in very artistically compositional frames, I would say. This one, for example, is really cool.
Yeah, this is my one of my favorite things. I can't express how much I feel right
now. He has...
Because sometimes you can use the mirror as a compositional element.
Yeah, of course.
Like in this one, you see a bridge with people walking on it.
Yeah.
So it's a part of the scene now.
Yeah, it is. And you are able to put it together.
You can pack so much stuff. You can always sometimes align stuff happening outside. Behind the mirror and with the mirror.
Yeah, so how people have described is that he uses car windows to deliberate prick-to frames, and also uses a lot the rear view mirrors, becoming a tool reflecting unexpected or fragmented juxtapositions with the things that you are having in front of the car.
I think a lot of people do this when, like, for example, maybe you're in a flat and
there's some mountains behind.
Or maybe there's like night in front of you, but sunset behind you.
I've taken some of those, actually.
That's what the contrast and the color is really powerful.
Yeah. So there are a lot of those. This one is kind of cool.
The cat? He really liked the branches.
So
did you post the one you talked about also in the Trello, the one used for the profile, for the thumbnail?
So yeah, there is a link that is called self-portraits in the list of things.
I'm looking for it.
I think it's the second link.
Just in case somebody...
So he actually published his first published book was of self-portraits quite early on, so he didn't have so many photos. But then he published another self-portraits book ranging from the 50s to 2011 with 300 pictures, so a lot of pictures of himself. Go up, and then you can click there to the sides. Yeah.
Okay.
So he liked... there's also another book which is called What the Shadows Tell, which is all shadows photos. Shadows of things or of him, mostly of him as well. And they're also included in the self-portraits.
Really
yeah, I know, of course.
I just noticed it.
He has a lot of humor in his photos as well.
Yeah.
I think, like, for example, here he uses the plant as his hair as well. So so this is the one that I chose to put in the thumbnail, because I think it's very him. It's like he's supposed to be the center of the picture, but then we have this other element, and it works. I actually really like it.
It's kind of like antlers.
A little bit, and also like he wanted obviously to have the trees as part of the subject as well.
No, they're placed just right. I wonder how he took it.
With the Hasselblad.
Really?
Yeah. Because he shot most of his life with 35mm.
So he didn't have a flippy screen, huh?
I don't think so. I think this is with the Hasselblad. Because he, in the 90s, discovered the Hasselblad wide, super wide actually, which is 6x6 like normal Hasselblad, but it has a 38mm lens, which how much is equivalent to medium format?
I don't know the crop factor, but it's wide.
very wide. It's much wider than... Actually, I left a link, which is the manual of the super wide, because I found it really interesting. If we can take a look maybe later.
Okay.
These
we can
are
take
really
a look
cool.
now if you want.
I think it's in the bottom, Hasselblad manual. Yeah.
This is... you can put this link in
Maybe.
Yeah.
So I really like it because at the time this camera was coming out, it was kind of like a new thing to have something so wide. And if you go down in the manual, you can see that they actually show you examples of in the normal focal lengths of medium format and Hasselblad cameras, how it is. And then you go down and they show you how much of everything you can gather with this
like
kind of new lens.
So basically this is a 50 equivalent.
Yeah.
The 80 millimeter. 60 is a bit wider, maybe like a 35.
CM is saying 38 is about 23.
Yeah. So 23 is relatively wide for back in the day, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, so here you can see, for example, the examples on the lab as well there. I just found that it was a very nice manual because it's not only about the camera, but it's also telling you, how many more creatively or like you can do with this kind of lens, which is really cool. Look at that one of the theater. It's so cool.
It is. I'm guessing they did it this way so they can be able to get infinity focus.
I guess it feels like it's shorter than the other. Is the camera different?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's shorter.
Mirror.
Yeah, it's very short.
Yeah, this is like you shoot directly on the film, and this is a scope that approximates the view.
You actually are able to frame more or less. Yeah. It's interesting. I didn't know that Hasselblad has something like this.
They have a digital one like this now. It looks very similar as well. So it's just this part that is a lens mount, and then the digital back slaps on the back.
CM is like, I would love to have a Hasselblad super wide. Lovely camera. You know who has one? Ken Rockwell. Because I found... actually, I was almost about to copy the link so we can see his photos because he has some interesting photos taken with the Hasselblad super wide, actually.
I don't think these are super expensive. Like, they're probably much cheaper than the
normal Hasselblad.
The normal, like, CM500 with 80 f2.8. What's the aperture on this lens?
4.5, I believe.
Yeah.
I read somewhere.
What is this?
Your name. They will put it there, I guess.
Why?
So it's your camera.
This is so weird. All right, let's go back here.
This is very cool. Look at this one.
Yeah.
So integrating himself into the tree and like breaking the boundaries between. It's really
so cool. I really love this guy's work. I think Sham, if she's still with us, is really enjoying this stuff as well.
CM says no, they are at least 2,000 euros.
Crazy.
Hasselblad, baby. This one
is cool.
So that's from a series called Signs. Actually, if you go and open, let's do this thing. If you go to the Trello and you open one that is called More Gallery and Photos, some photos and galleries here. That one. So if you go there and you go down, more down. Here there are some photos.
Oh, I really like this one.
This one I know it's... You remember the one you took for one of the last videos? The last one of the roll? It really reminds me of that one. Go down so we can go to... down.
Keep going down. I'm sorry, I keep enjoying the
this, for example, is a
stuff.
retroflanking. So this is one of... this, which was 60 something, I can see.
68.
Yeah. So this was... the very kind of early. He moved to when did he move to New York? In 56, and then he started, taking photos and doing some paid work to make a little bit of money as well. At the same time he was doing. So if you go down here, Signs there, that's a little collection. It's a book there. I think there's a book as well, or there was an exhibition, and it's just photos of signs, which is pretty much part of this social landscape that we're talking about, or just like taking photos of how the world is and how the world looks around us. And similarly, like this is what I think where the kind of like the comedy or the humor in his photos come from. He took those photos about signs all across the US and the cities he was visiting, and he also did another project which was called American Monuments, the American Monument. It also ended up being a book where he went around and he took photos of monuments or things that people kind of relate to them as monuments all across the US and put them together in a book as well. And there are things that, yeah, of course, everybody recognizes a monument, you know, like the Washington Monument in wherever, but also smaller and more like kind of comical type of symbols that could be regarded as monuments. I didn't find so many of those photos, but there were...
I just have to interrupt you because I thought of an account that I follow on Instagram, and I think he deserves a lot more followers. I want to give a shout out to that guy.
So actually we're getting here some comments by Lin Jika, which I don't think we've seen before in the chat. Hi, Lin Jika. They're saying the Biogon, which is the lens that has the super wide, it's almost distortion free. So that's one of the key things about it also, that even though it's so wide, you don't get this fisheye effect, I guess. It's very expensive, and actually that they own the book, The Desert Scene, one of the books of Friedlander, one of the many books.
Yeah, because if you think about it, like a 30, I mean,
a 23.
It's a 38 lens.
Yeah.
That's the thing about larger format, like medium format and up, is that they're the same lens, just with a bigger image circle. That's why you, like, so when, I don't know how the image circle affects. I know that when you're trying to, you know, take the scene and make it like a 10 millimeter or an 8 millimeter lens is really gonna have a lot of distortion, because of the super wide. But here you have a bigger image circle, so I don't know
how that relates.
How the image circle size in terms of
will affect the distortion.
Will affect the distortion versus how the field of view basically. Well, the field of view is kind of the same. The field of view is a product of the image circle and the angle, the length, the focal length of the lens, right?
I guess, yeah.
That's why if you shoot it like a 23, is an equivalent. It's the same field of view as a 38 when it has a bigger image circle. So I'm guessing. So I'm guessing with the bigger image circle, you can get wider with less distortion. That's my theory.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Is because you don't have to open so much
like distort so much the image to put it in a smaller
to fit the same amount of information,
or the same amount of field of view.
Yeah. So I don't know. I remembered this guy as I was flipping through the photos.
It is good.
He's really good. He's one of my favorite Instagram profiles. And he does a lot of these. Not a lot of people in his photos, but a lot of just compositions in the world.
It's really
and
beautiful.
Some of them are really, really, really fun. A lot of times his photos just make me happy. That's his Instagram. Go check him out. C. Choa.
Choa.
Christopher Choa.
Nice.
Yeah. So you wanted to look at...
so Little Screens is also a project, the one in the left, that I really like. So when TVs started to be popular and be all around in motels and other places, like rather than just in houses with people that had the money to buy a TV, he started to take photos of these screens in the hotels or motels where he was traveling across the country. And I really like this project because also you have to have in mind that he had to choose when to shoot the photo with what is in the screen showing, which... It's not like now, you can put a YouTube video and stop it at any time you want, and you take a photo if you want to have it as part of the composition and your frame. But there is like a bit more of like guessing or like really waiting to see what you. And some of them are really fun to watch. This one's like that one, for example, is so hunting, like the previous one. This one is fun because you have the toilet and then you have the chair, and then they're watching you. He's so clever, so clever.
Indeed, I really like these.
This one, to me, it works because also the bed, how it's framed, it looks to me a bit like it could be a kid's bed, like like a cradle, they call it? Crib. Yeah, like a crib. Yeah. So, and you are having a baby in the image. Yeah. So, I mean, that's my interpretation, but of course it's up to...
Or maybe you're in your bed and the kid is at the end of the bed,
just like waiting for something.
Yeah, it's like, let's go play or something like that.
This one is... this one looks like, because with the antennas...
Like she's a bug?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, these photos are so cool.
And this one is like... it's the next one, the next frame. This one as well, you know, like with the shapes and like
You know what this looks to me? It's so weird. Like it's almost like a like an inception of a sidecar.
of a what?
You know, the sidecar on a motorbike.
Sidecar, yeah.
So this is because this shape next to this shape looks like a sidecar. This is a motorbike and a sidecar, but inside of it there's a motorbike.
Yeah. That's a cool representation of it, or interpretation rather.
Yeah, because like I feel like the motorbike being on the screen made me think about motorbikes and sidecars. And then these two look like a motorbike and a sidecar. I don't know. I wonder if he thought of it like this.
This one is also so cool. You know, like you have a hunted animal there, but then you have like a guy that is being searched for the FBI.
Yeah.
Like I mean, really, I don't know what he was thinking or if this, but to me, it's really cool. This one is the eye that sees it all and is seeing you.
Yeah. So cool. I mean, I was thinking of the people who are listening to this podcast. It's good that we mentioned the name of the gallery before, so you can go flip through these images. We should try to do that more. Mention what gallery.
Which gallery? Yeah. So now we just watch little screens.
Yeah.
With from the second link on the.
So there was one that you mentioned when you were talking about signs.
Yeah.
It's not here though.
What is called? It's called the American Monument.
Yeah.
I'm not sure because the thing is that the MoMA site is down.
Is down.
All the sites within the MoMA, which they actually acquired 1,000 photographs from Lee Friedlander not so long ago. And actually I learned from the course about him. So they know a lot. But it's called the American Monument. And there is a book. But
let's see if the page is back on.
I don't think so.
We can try. Yeah, it's
try.
It's working.
Nice. Go down.
All right.
Yeah, so now we have a lot of photos there to watch. There's 300 works online. It's a bit buggy. Look at that.
They may be having some issues with the server.
Yeah.
Should the American Monument?
Yeah.
Maybe I take away MoMA, see if I can find it somewhere else. The American Monument.
Yeah. Maybe is it all just about, because there's a lot about the exhibitions that happen. But I think if you go to the images, like have written that.
Here's an article from the New York Times magazine.
Linjika is saying Friedlander was childlike in his curiosity. He photographed anything and everything. Yeah,
I'm definitely getting Parr vibes.
Martin Parr, yeah.
Although they're very different, but there's that like childlike curiosity in them.
And like wanted to explore and see what the limits of things are.
Are these the photos you were thinking of?
Let me see. No, let me see. Didn't I?
I'll go to images.
Actually, the third link, it's about it in the Trello.
The third link.
So I did fine.
Okay.
The American Monument, yeah.
So now we're looking at the American Monument in...
so I think if you click there or on the side, something... Yeah, so wait, before you pass by, let's just admire this photo.
All right, take me through it.
Because, it's juxtaposing two very American things that represent America in two completely different times in history as well. Everyone recognizes Coca-Cola as an American brand. And of course, I am not sure I can see who is the person in the monument, but
Father Duffy.
I'm not familiar with American history, but I assume it's someone that it was important for American history.
Maybe somebody can let us know in the chat.
And to have a statue. But then the way that he decided to take this photo with this outlook and having the Coca-Cola sign there, to me, is like is important. It means something. He wanted to tell something by choosing to take this photo.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, especially that Coca-Cola is higher and much bigger.
Yeah, and...
Maybe it's like... I don't know. We can Google it. Who is Father Duffy?
Father Duffy. Francis P. Duffy. Yeah, that's the guy.
Yeah, Canadian-American soldier, Catholic priest, and military chaplain. Duffy served as a chaplain for the 69th Infantry Regiment, a unit of the New York Army National Guard largely drawn from the Irish American immigrant population.
Yeah, so he was a
Is it
soldier
like a
in
Civil War thingy?
I guess, yeah. What's the date?
No,
No, World War One?
No, he died in 1932.
Yeah, so...
Well, yeah, then he lived, but he was quite old by then.
Can you go to the Wikipedia page? Because there is like... I can't see anything.
Going down the
Put it
rabbit
bigger?
hole.
Go up, yeah.
We need to get you a bigger screen.
For sure.
Are you able to read?
He served in the Spanish-American War. But his service on the drone of the city... Sorry, I can't. But yeah.
All right.
So actually his statue is in Times Square. Does it say there? New York
Times Square, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, that's the same. That's the same.
That's the same statue.
Actually, yeah. So now it makes much more sense. Or no, it's not the same.
Yeah, it is the same.
Oh, okay.
It is the same. That is the same statue.
So you know what it is and why you have all these other big
screens,
like modern life behind it. Yeah. So he just went around. This one is this was funny, right?
It is funny. It is so funny. Yeah. They didn't think the statue through from all the angles.
All right. And he took photos of different kind of monuments or statues or icons or symbols or girls. I think there's some photos about the cherry tree blossoms as well. Oh, this one's really cool.
This one is so cool. This one is like it brings the statue to motion.
Yeah, it looks like it's saying shoo shoo to all the...
Yeah, it looks like he's causing them to fly away.
Or that they are part of the art installation, whatever it is, because it's a frame frozen in time, so you don't know if they were actually moving or not. Or
but that it gives you, because a statue of a guy on a horse, is that galloping? What is that movement?
That's like jumping, I guess.
Yeah, it implies motion.
Yeah.
Because the horse doesn't naturally exist like that, like for a long time.
A moment, yeah.
But then the birds add to to bring that motion to life.
In different, so this is, for example, the cherry trees as well. And there's another one there. This one is also this one. You see, cool. Like when he decided to take the photos and the frames. Yeah,
I mean, a lot of his street stuff is just what I love a lot about street. Is that there's not much like it's that, because a lot of people come from that very dramatic kind of like view on it, like the Cartier-Bresson look is like, but a lot of times it's just another moment that you for whatever reason find familiarity and beauty in it, and it doesn't have to have anything obviously beautiful. That's exactly what makes it beautiful.
Or like humor, even like this one, for example, it's kind of humor.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, like this one, for example, is just such a beautiful frame. I can't tell you how much I love this one. Like the dog there is not the center of the image, but he's a part of the story. That is another day on Earth.
Yeah.
You know,
Albuquerque. That's in New Mexico.
Yeah, it could be anywhere. Nothing in it is exactly somewhere
representative. Yeah.
You know, this could be anywhere. Super generic.
When was this taken?
1934.
That's when he was born.
Oh, sorry.
He doesn't say. I don't think so.
I saw you asked me a date. I give you the first date that I find. All right.
Let's keep taking a look at some photos. Let me see if I have some miscellanea from his life.
All right. I'm going to go back through this ArtNet gallery and see what we have. I mean, yeah, a lot of these are they're just beautiful things that you find around you. And I think we like I feel like it's coming together, this drive for taking photos that I always ask people when they join us on the show, why are you taking photos? And it's just like, because you see something and you think you want to look at it more.
Yeah.
You want to freeze it in time and you want to, it just makes you feel something.
Yeah, for me, I always say it like when I have done exhibitions before and they ask you like, oh, can you write a bio? Why are you taking photos like this? And it's like, well, to me, it's just everyone has a viewpoint. Everyone has a perspective.
Yeah.
Because from the point of view of every one of us, the world is around us, right?
It feels
and
like
we might see it in different ways. So when you take a photo, you are showing everyone else how you are seeing what is around you.
yeah. I mean that's basically the idea of like why Instagram got so popular when it first started, because it was just like, just photograph anything and make it look nice in a few clicks with a bunch of filters and
in square format.
yeah, and you give it a punch and a feeling, and sometimes you can emphasize the edges in a different way, the colors or the shapes if you make it black and white. And a lot of Lee's photos are like that. If you look at this one that we're looking at, he's like the first Instagrammer in a way, or one of the earliest Instagrammers, because he just found Lee Avenue.
Yeah.
He was like, look, there's a street with my name on it.
Yeah, right? Yeah, that's true. I mean, the Instagram, that's where the name comes from, right? Like you just take instants around and you share them.
Yeah.
There are some other of the, the little screens over there. Some nudes. He also took some nudes.
So tell us about the nudes. What's the story?
What did he tell you? I mean, he took nudes throughout his career, a little bit sporadically.
This is the only one that I can show you.
Yeah, because it's the rear side.
Yeah,
but the most famous nudes that he took in 1979 of Madonna.
Yeah.
But it was before Madonna actually became popular, or Madonna as the icon that she later became. She was actually on a model agency, and she got paid $25 for doing this shoot with Lee Friedlander.
And this is probably the
cheapest photo that you can find.
This price is in Swedish crowns, I'm assuming. So that's about $4,000.
Yes, and you cannot really see that it's her. You know that it's from the set and everything. The thing is that he took the photos in 79. They pay her whatever. But Madonna became very famous. And then in 86, I believe. Yeah, in 86. Oh, yeah. Just to give you a number, in 2009, one of the image was sold for $37,500 at Christie's from that same set in 2009. He took them in 79, and then in September 85, after Madonna had become very popular, Playboy, in recognition of her celebrity, paid $500,000 for the right to publish those photos in a special edition of Playboy. That's where they end up in 85.
Right.
So,
but now they're in Sotheby's, I think.
In Sotheby's, I don't know where they are. I mean, they were all the ones that got auctioned and they were sold for so much. They were like prints. They had already been published. So it's not that it was like I don't know, new or anything like that. They were published in Playboy, but Playboy only paid for the rights for that publication. It's not like they owned them. So all the prints that got sold were actually printed in between 80 something and maybe late 80s as well. And they got sold for a lot of money. So, yeah. Oopsie.
Well,
I really like his photos of trees, actually. That's a favorite of mine.
Yeah.
Just to...
With the branches?
Yeah, with the branches. And also, if you go to the Trello again, there is a very long link there.
Yeah, I was wondering what that is.
Well, I couldn't find any gallery about this particular project. This project is called Stems. It was published as a book that you can see there, the green one. And he took this one while he was home ridden. He couldn't really go out because he was waiting to change a knee, or like a prosthesis on a knee or something like that. So he took photos solely of the stems of flowers that he was getting home, because he said that those stems reminded him of his joints and his legs and his anatomy, so to speak. So he took those photos and then published them on a book, and I found them very interesting, and I really like them, because it's not the typical flower photo that everyone else would take or like you normally see, because the flower of the photo, the beauty of the flower is on the flower.
Yeah, the emphasis is usually on the flower itself.
Yeah, but here he's focusing more on textures, which is something that he had not really done so much before in his photography. So, yeah, it's very interesting work.
Indeed.
Here we're seeing more of the Hasselblad work he cannot ditch the 35. This one is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Because you are getting, the wide angle view of the camera he was using on the lens, but then you have this augmentation by the glass and the
glass
flower
ball.
pots and the water as well.
Yeah.
And really nice. This was one of my favorite, and the little screens as well. But then we have the landscape work, which we have not yet looked into.
All right. Where can I find
I think if you go...
There was a lot of, I don't know if you can consider it some of this landscape.
Those are not the ones that I was thinking. I was thinking of the landscape of exploration of the west of the US that he did. That's when he started to use the Hasselblad super wide, because he wanted to be able to get more in his frames. He wanted something that would give him also more detail and draw more of the reality into the frame. But I think if you go, there is another in the Frankel Gallery. Yeah, that's the one. If you go up to the bottom part again, then there is called Western Landscapes.
Is this the same?
Those are exhibitions though.
Okay, but this one looks really cool. Can we check it out real quick?
Yeah, I'm not sure there's gonna be a lot of photos, but maybe there. And I don't think that's even him alone. I think that might be a photo.
It's a
conjoint group exhibition.
Okay, landscapes.
Yeah. So these were taken in the 90s, mid 90s, late 90s, with the Hasselblad. And I really like them. Especially because it reminds me, we always go back to our personal experiences and our, personal taste and the things. But when I went to the US and I went to the national parks, these are the kind of photos that I actually took of those places, because that's what kind of called me the most, spoke to me, that there were so many textures, there were so many structures, the trees were amazing. There were trees that I have not really seen before.
This one is so cool.
This one is very nice.
You know what this one makes me feel like? It's like the trees are the stars, and you're looking at a photo of the Earth, from the space station.
Yes, I see it perfectly.
This is the curvature of the Earth.
Yes, and then you see it's the stars and everything is connected.
Yeah, but it's space is made out of a tree instead of stars and galaxies.
Yeah.
So it's so cool.
These ones it's so soft. It's like you can almost feel the texture of how you will feel being there, Yeah,
definitely. I'm definitely having this. I can feel like it's a personal style. These photos. Where is it? The other one? This one?
Yes.
And this one
too. And this one too,
yeah. These ones I'm burnt out on in a way. The kind of
the landscape with the rocks in front.
Yeah, I feel like I just don't like... I don't know, these photos don't do anything to me. Is that weird? Even Ansel Adams photos, I really like, especially the prints of Ansel, the blacks and the whites, where in these big mountain photos. But I just the photos are there themselves. They don't really move me in any way.
I really like how he includes trees in his compositions.
Yeah,
just because.
To me, this photo is a much nicer photo than this photo.
Definitely. I agree with you.
For whatever reason.
This one is the typical, I think what he was probably not as starstruck, but working with that lens and that camera gives you a perspective that he probably haven't had before with this camera.
Yeah,
so
it's particularly interesting how he framed. I have to say, now that I look at it more, I like it more. It's definitely nicer than a lot of stuff that I've seen. There's something about the texture of the rocks and the lights I was hitting them, and it's contrasting. It almost looked like it's photoshopped there. It's two pictures. And also there's not a lot of distortion happening.
Yeah.
Because usually, it's very common to see these photos with a large format camera, and a lot of people like to do back tilt on these photos for whatever freaking reason.
Yeah, so the front looks so super
so much bigger.
Yeah.
And I hate that effect. But that's just me. But yeah, this one may be one of my more favorites now that I look at it. There is definitely a lot of tonality here that I'm that is growing on me. But this thing is I wish it was this part. Crop it here.
Yeah, right?
Remove
the reflection only.
Yeah, the reflection and the rocks.
The rocks. This one nice. Yeah, I really like them. This is a big cactus.
I have to say, yeah, you do have a lot of photos of just branches.
Yes, I like them. The one of the exhibitions I had, which was a group exhibition, I was able to have 2 photos. They had to represent me, and I chose 2 photos of trees.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, taken on film, both of them.
Nice. It was a long time ago, wasn't it?
That was 2015, I think, or 16.
Yeah. So I think that's it for today, don't you think?
Yeah, I mean, he has so much material, but there is actually only a fraction of it online. I feel like
Yeah, I mean, if you enjoyed the work,
there's so many.
you can go and get
so many books.
inspired.
This one,
and,
yeah, that one
keep
that you
digging.
show, the mannequin, it's like
This one?
the both of them, like or
This one
the
is
collection.
really
This one's
interesting.
really good because it's like it looks like she's looking out the window, and you can actually see what she would be seeing because of the reflection.
Yeah. It's so strange to see a mannequin set up like that.
Right.
At first I thought she was a woman just because of the way she's
Yeah.
leaning.
You can also see him there.
Can I?
Yeah. Isn't that him?
No.
Oh.
That's a
Sorry, I
woman
couldn't
passing
see
by.
it. Oh, okay. That's
Or
it. Cool.
maybe a man, but it looks to me like a woman. But yeah, I think that's it for today. We can keep it short for a change.
Mm-hmm. Almost.
We've been going on for an hour. That's short in our book.
Yeah.
Would you say? I don't know. The chat has been super quiet. And
Mhm.
so we hope you guys are enjoying this and not all dozed off, snoring already.
And then maybe you saw some new photos that you hadn't seen before.
Yeah, look, hey, if you listen to this to relax and fall asleep, fine by me as well. Glad to be helpful in any way. But yeah,
It was cool to, close up this three
trio.
photographer, this trio, important in the history of photography. That particular exhibition was really
So
important.
yeah, let me ask
for
you
the-
this: who's your favorite between the three?
They are so different.
Yeah, but
I have to say,
if let's say, like
if I have
imagine
to choose,
that we went to the gallery,
yeah, which ones I will look more at to, or
and then we left,
yeah.
and we're walking out of the gallery and we're talking. Which one was your favorite?
I think Lee Friedlander.
Me
I
too.
think so. Because Garry was very nice, the way that he was taking the photos and the spontaneity of his photos and the rawness as well, because it's just whatever was in front of him. And Diane Arbus, she was presenting to us things that probably weren't been seen before. I'm putting ourselves in that time if we're
Mhm.
going to see the exhibition. But I think if I would have the same taste as I have now, I think Lee.
Like
would
imagine
be
the gallery is running right now. You can
Yeah.
go now and see that new document. Was it called?
new documents, yeah.
Yeah. So if we just now are able to walk into a place where they're running new documents, I feel like Lee also is my favorite.
Yeah.
I really like the three of them, and for different reasons as well. You know what I mean? Like I like the idea of Diane Arbus more than the photos themselves.
CM is I vote Arbus.
Yeah, look, I like the idea. I like the concept of her work, but I'm not much of a portrait guy in general. Like I just don't really like portraits in any kind of portraits. I hardly ever find one that is... I like the more creative portraits.
Yeah.
Like mixed media or multiple exposures or stuff like that. These are the portraits that I'll be like, oh yeah, because it doesn't have, it almost never has a wow factor to me because it's just a person.
Yeah, the more elaborated portraits or...
I like a portrait gallery, like Stieglitz. Wasn't it Stieglitz who photographed his wife?
Oh, O'Keefe, yeah.
Georgia. Yeah. So for me, that is interesting.
But that is like, it's a different
It's
thing.
a body
it's
of a single
work.
portrait, basically, of a single person's portrait. And to me, that's fascinating. That's something that I still have it in my head. I hardly remember any details of all the photographers we talk about. But that body of work that Stieglitz did with his wife, to me is something that is more than just a portrait, a single portrait of a person. To me, it almost seems portraits feel too commercial or too much of a reporting thing.
Yeah.
You know, you're either promote, like, especially nowadays, it's either like somebody dropped a new album or made a new movie, or, you know what I mean? It just doesn't tell me anything.
I think I actually found a new photographer, which I don't know if there's a lot from her, but that I think you will like her photos exactly because of that, because they're like super creative photos involving people.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even call them maybe portraits. It depends. It's like it's using them as part of the photos that you are creating, which is cool.
Yeah. And between Garry and Lee, it's just you can tell that they approach the streets so differently.
Yeah.
Like it feels like Lee was more alone.
Mm.
There's a thing about street and how alone with yourself you are, and I don't mean alone is in a negative way.
Not lonely, just alone.
You know, alone with your thoughts, you're flowing, and then you're able to see these things that are sometimes too hard to notice if you're distracted. You need to be like in the zone, kind of, to appreciate them and decide, I'm gonna take a photo of this, and then I'm gonna, you know, make something out of it. And I'm not taking away from Garry. Garry, like, put so many things that at the moment you would be like, maybe there's nothing here, but he found something there and he showed it to us. But also he has a lot of action and suspense in his photos, and it was like he wasn't alone. He was with the city of New York.
Yeah.
You know, and he was playing with it, and that's a lot of fun. Again, I'm not taking it. I loved it when I was looking at it, and I still love it. There's something to me too familiar, too relatable about Lee's work. That's why I would feel like it would be the one that sticks with me the most.
Yeah, I mean, I looked through his bibliography, you know, the books, and I felt like I want to get them, like many different ones. And they're very different kind of photos. This one, as I told you, is called What the Shadows Tell, which is just photos of shadows of many forms. The stem ones, the American Monument, the little screens one, or like whatever it included. These are all independent pieces of seemingly very different work, but equally enjoyable. So for me, I think Lee, it's the winner.
Yeah.
As well. Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, I think that's it. This is the second time we end the same episode. Thank you all for watching.
Thank you for watching.
We hope you enjoy it.
Now or later, or on demand, and for listening, if you're listening to this.
Yeah, and by the way, if you're here listening to this somehow and you have missed the other 2 episodes that we're talking about, and you want to hear us ramble even longer, go check those out. We did talk about Garry and Diane.
Yes.
So yeah, see you next week.
Bye guys. Have a good week.
Bye.